Please be advised that Little Miss Recap contains adult language.
Hey, Kathy, it's Gerry. I'm at Amy's
Gerry.
house.
Oh, Gerry.
I'm here to tell
Amy.
you that I didn't
Harry.
find you attractive. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, isn't that a real fucking nice thing to say?
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Little Miss Recap, the podcast where we love a good fucking dressing down by a grandchild.
Dressing down by a
They dressed him down.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what that phrase is? Like,
no.
Like, they read him for filth. Like, they read him and they dressed him down.
Oh,
Am I using it wrong?
I don't know. I've never heard it before.
Oh my God, I need to Google it.
And I'm like, what?
To dress someone down.
I don't know. To me, that means to get in your sweats.
What does dressing down someone mean? An act of speaking angrily to someone because they've done something wrong. She gave me a dressing down for being like, oh my God, am I 117?
I've never heard this.
Amy pulls out a 1950s slang term. Of course I do.
I hate it.
Anyway, I loved these grandchildren. I was here for every minute of it.
I know. I loved them too.
We are here to talk. If you've wondered
made
where
it?
you stumbled into, this is the Golden Bachelor episode 6. The grandchildren were fantastic. We'll get into this, but I had mixed emotions about the women. I now have a new theory.
Me too.
Okay, that I'm going to put out at the end. We'll save it for the end.
All right.
And I have some scenes I think we need to reenact. I haven't told you what they are, but they're coming.
God, you guys. Why?
And at some point during the episode, we are going to have Kathy join us via satellite.
Oh.
To talk about the 3 women and who she thinks should get the final 2 roses.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Mm-hmm. So she'll be here later.
Oh, great. Kathy's coming. Great.
All right. So, Steph, you've done the notes. You've done the hard work today.
Right. I mean, I don't know how much I'd say hard work, but
can I go to Married at First Sight corner for 1 second?
Of course.
Okay. Fast forward about 3 minutes if you don't want to hear this, maybe 2. I watched After Party.
Oh, I never watched that.
I watched it because I've heard some things. Remember my theory about Cameron that he's secretly terrible and is trying to be a nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
So Claire claims that off camera, he said to her, and I don't think he meant it like mean, but he said to her that he had asked for someone slender and tall, and he didn't get that.
She said that on After Party?
That's what she said. Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
And Keisha Knight Pullen was like, what?
Yes. Oh, see, I think he's just not good with words.
So I don't know. I don't know. But put that in your bonnet, your silk bonnet with your bonnet buddy.
All right.
And we'll talk about it at a later date. Oh. Maybe during the actual Married at First Sight episode.
That would be good.
Mm-hmm. We'll do that then. Yeah. All right. So let's go to, I got a lot of pets in my room here, so I don't know what's happening. The cat's wagging his tail, moving my wires. The dog's chasing the cat. Okay.
All right. So it's hometown week.
Take us to Pound Town.
All right. It's hometown week, and our boy Gerry is sporting some saucy Ray-Bans and some Hey Dudes. And he's heading to New Jersey.
Can we stop for 1 second and talk about how he walks?
Okay.
He walks with very erect posture. Like ding, 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 ding. Like he's the Tin Man who needs an oiling.
All right.
Okay.
Haven't noticed, but I will.
I mean, look, I roll around like a meatball on 2 sticks. I'm not throwing shade at his gait. I'm just saying he has very, very good posture.
Okay. Well, that's good. We don't have to worry about him needing like a spinal fusion anytime soon. All right, so our boy Gerry takes his Ray-Bans and his Hey Dudes, and he heads to Shrewsbury, New Jersey, where he meets Theresa in the park, and they spend some time reminiscing about the harrowing ride on the freeway without a headlight. And he's just so happy that she took her little tiny hand and put it on his shoulder because it was so calming for him.
I'm snorting. Because remember Kathy said she's like a doll? All her clothes fit in a little suitcase. And now Gary's like, you took your little hand
I
and you
know.
put it right on my shoulder. And
I
it was
know.
so invigorating. Like,
Uh-huh.
it's so, I could
It
watch
was
that
so
scene.
calming.
I
I
could
know.
watch that scene driving down the highway with no headlights down the 5 in California.
That
It's
might be some of the greatest television ever.
one of the greatest pieces of television ever committed to film. Right behind Cody Brown and Janelle telling him to fuck off.
Oh my God.
Nothing beats that.
It's pretty great. Pretty great. All right. So anyhow, we meet Theresa's family. And we're meeting her daughter and her
daughter's
husband.
beautiful.
Beautiful. I'm so blown away by this. Not blown away that she's beautiful. I'm blown away by how normal they seem because I wasn't expecting it.
Yes.
So she has 3 grandsons and they're freaking adorable. And her 2 sisters are there, an older sister and a younger sister.
Now, did you get a sense of, this is going to come into my theory later, whose house was that?
I thought it was hers.
I felt like it might have been the daughter and the husband.
Okay, maybe.
Because she said, my mother's over here all the time.
That's true. She did say that. You're right.
All right.
Okay. All right. So I'm definitely getting the vibes that she's the crazy one of the family, right? Did you pick that up?
Of course. Of course she is. She's on the Golden Bachelor.
So I know, but dude, you know how I feel about Theresa. Anyway, the daughter thinks that she's smitten with Gerry. They seem to like him, whatever. I noted that like they're just kind of like a typical New Jersey family. Kind of here for it. They're adorable. She seems really close to her kid, whatever. So we fast forward a little bit to my favorite part of Gerry meeting the grandsons that he's already adopted.
This is fantastic.
And they tell her, you know, our grandma comes over a lot because she's lonely. I mean, they've clearly been rehearsed.
It's so
I
cute.
don't even care. They're fucking adorable.
What if one of them was like, my grandma is awesome in bed? Or so I've heard.
God.
Or so I've heard.
No, that's not happening. So Gerry asks them, what is the most interesting thing about your Nana? And these adorable little boys say when she makes duck lips taking selfies, and they proceed to hold out the phone and make duck lips, and it's goddamn hilarious. And even Gerry says this is so precious. I don't doubt this one bit. Gare Bear's totally into these kids. It's super adorable, and he just thinks they're fucking precious, and I do too.
I do too.
So we see Gerry talking to the daughter now. And she asks him what he likes about her mom. And Gerry says the first thing he noticed is just how she looks at him, and she leans in when she talks to him. And I'm just like, Gerry, dude,
I can smell her almond breath. I don't know why she would have almond breath, but I feel like she would.
Ew, that's super weird that you would even think that. She
probably munches on raw almonds all the time.
You know, you're weird, but that's right.
I am weird.
You're right. No, but like, I think you're right. Anyway, all right. So the daughter asks him what he thinks about the distance because she thinks it's going to be very challenging for him. And Gerry responds with, we'll figure it out. So she asks if he's falling in love with her mom. And he kind of fumbles and he says, well, that's such a hard question because I'm not even sure what it feels like to be in love again since I haven't felt that since 1968 when I first met Tony. And I have no idea why Gerry talks like this now.
He does not talk
like
Kathy.
He totally doesn't.
He does this. I haven't felt this way since 1968. Oh, wait, I'm getting a little British in there. Getting a little British.
We're fired. So all right, so he says he hasn't felt this way since 1968, and his answer is, I don't know right now, which to me is a big fat no.
Yeah, he goes through this whole thing where he's like, I don't know if it's love. I'm feeling these feelings similar to when I was in 1968, which is one of the most important years in American history if you're into that kind of stuff.
Oh, dear Lord.
Anyway, it's also the year that, you know, Gerry met Tony, apparently.
Right. Of course.
So, yeah, it was interesting because he gave a non-answer.
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 Nope. So he meets with the sisters privately, and they're really selling Theresa hard.
I would do the same for you, dude.
I know. I know. It's kind of funny
she
because
has a body that won't quit in the bedroom.
did you kind of like when you and Timmy came on my first date with Patrick, remember? At
I don't
Jack's?
remember.
Yes, you do. You'll think about it.
Dude, I don't remember a lot from that time period. I think my kids were small, weren't they?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
all right. So the sisters say, quote, that Gerry feels like the most kindest person.
Most kindest. Most kindest.
And Gerry says, oh, yeah, Theresa, she's such a doll and she's darling. And they think Theresa's found her guy. They're selling it hardcore.
Oh, wait, I'm Gerry now. Hold on. The sister. You're the most genuine guy we've ever met.
I know. And they're like totally like psychologically fucking with him because the one reaches out and holds his hand.
Holds his hand.
You guys, what?
Hands off. Hands off.
Hands off Grandpa Gerry.
I bring over a stud for you to meet and to assess for me. You better keep your hands off him.
I know.
That's all I have to say.
So the grandsons say, I think you should be the new pawpaw for us.
Okay. This whole thing and then the daughter crying, I can't. I was sobbing.
It's upsetting. Gerry says he would be proud to be a part of this family. And then, sure as shit, we're back to elder abuse because we're on a goddamn Ferris wheel again. Why, how, where? I have no idea. No one says. They're just on a goddamn Ferris wheel. And of course, she says that she is in love with him and can't picture her life without him.
Gerry, remember when I said I was falling in love with you? Well, now I'm in love with you.
And it's real weird, and they make out so hard that
Hardcore
actual fireworks go off. And Gerry says this is the first time since 1968 that he's in love again with Theresa.
The daughter at some point cries and says, us accepting Gerry will never diminish my father. And I was like, oh.
I know. That was really sweet.
I would like to just say I have had confirmation and validation for my theory of this being elder abuse because there was an interview that I read with Theresa in some other place, People magazine, maybe, I forget.
Okay.
Or as I like to call it, US Weekly. Where she said she is terrified of roller coasters, but she went on one anyway to go along with the crowd. And she was terrified the entire time.
I don't like that for her.
I don't like that either.
I don't like anyone being forced to do something they're scared to do.
Let's normalize being, this is my dream. I've always wanted to say this sentence. Let's normalize being afraid of everything.
Okay. I can get behind that.
Okay.
All right. So that was pretty much it with Theresa. I got nothing else.
Take us to Benton, Washington.
All right. So our boy Gerry Bear ditches his hey dudes and for some suede boots, and he heads all the way to Benton City, Washington. He shows up on her farm, and I didn't realize that she was into horses. Did you?
She's a horse girl. She's a horse girl.
I feel like I knew nothing about her before she went home.
I didn't either, but my opinion of her has completely changed.
Mine has too. So she's a real country girl, and her horse is stunning. Yes. Gerry tells her that he can't take his eyes off her. They're making out on top of horses. She's really feeling herself.
Well, and at one point she goes, Gerry lives in city country, not country, which I feel like is where I live.
I would agree with that.
I live in city country. Like, do I have llamas next door? Yes. Are there horses down the road? Yes. However, they're 81. The major interstate is also 5 seconds from my house.
Right.
So there's a difference. The fact that she rides her horse to the bar, I can't even. I want to be that person.
Me too.
But I'm terrified of horses, so I can't do it.
I'm not terrified of them. All right. So they talk about how they're going to spend their time together and where if this works out. And Faith tells Gerry that she feels a real pull to be close to her sons and wants her kids to know that she's there for them. Gerry isn't sure how they would reconcile this, but the upside is that their relationship is good. What?
I don't know how we're going to get past this, Faith, but man, are you hot. Like this, I don't get this.
Like, truly, that's what he's saying.
But here's where my opinion of her changed. Knowing, and we talked about this last episode, knowing her background, the very dysfunctional family of origin that she came from, whatever that situation is, we still don't know. The fact that she is such a good mom and is dedicated to be like, no, I'm going to be here where my kids are, because if they need me, I want to be here. Like, I just have so much respect for her.
Oh my God, me too. Love her. So he meets her sons and her sister and a friend who were there for the meeting. And he tells them it wasn't the motorcycle or the hair toss that turned him on. It was the way she looked at him. Just like he says that about everyone. The big sister says that life has been hard for Faith.
Yeah, she's dated some doozies, man.
I know. And Faith says to the sister that Gerry really sees her. And she's so in love and so smitten. The sons say that it's hard for her to fall in love, but when she does, she falls hard and fast. And I'm a little worried about this. Gerry tells them that, he's just going to go through the process and he trusts that he's going to come out with the right woman on the other end. They ask him if he's in love and he struggles again, but he finishes it off with, yeah, I kind of am. Kind of?
Yep.
Gerry, come on, dude.
Yep.
So then, Gary's meeting with the sister Beth. And Beth tells Gerry that she's super protective of her sister Faith, and she needs to make sure that her heart is safe with him.
Can we talk about Beth for a second and how stunning she is?
Jacked she is, and she's I need to jacked,
know. And she's stunning, and she's older than Faith.
I know.
Oh God, this woman looks better than me on my best fucking day.
Okay. Truly, she's amazing, she's incredible. Amazing. Gerry says that Faith brings him peace. And he thinks they both want the same thing. Wah, wah. Like, he's just so weird.
They're a good match, dude. They
are a good match. So I just, in my notes, I say the sister's jacked and I need to know her exercise routine. But we've already covered that. So then we see my favorite
You know what the
part.
difference probably is between her exercise routine and mine? Hers exists.
Hers, yes. Same. Hers takes place every day, not just in her brain, but actually in the real world. So then we see my favorite scene of the whole episode this week, and it's Gerry playing football with the grandsons. He's so good with kids, and it was really cute.
Yep.
So freaking cute. And the one little boy says, "Are you going to marry my grandma?" And he says, "I might want to be my best man." And I'm
Gerry,
like, dude,
you
Gerry.
don't make a promise like this to a little kid.
Gerry.
You say, I don't know. Be vague. Be very, very vague.
Yeah, now you better choose her, motherfucker, because now you're letting down everybody.
Yeah.
This is so messed up.
I know.
But Faith has become my new favorite, even though 2 weeks ago I had no idea who she was or where she came from.
We still don't know what her job is. We have no idea.
Don't really know much about her. But in a crazy turn of events, they sit together in front of her family.
Hold on. Stop you right there. All
right.
This is a scene that needs to be reenacted. Okay. So I'm going to play Gerry and Faith. And you're going to play the sons. Okay. Whatever son you want, just pick a random one. Okay.
Oh.
And you just ask me, how do you feel about my mother? Okay.
Okay, so Gerry, how do you feel about our mom, Faith, that we love so much? She's the greatest mother on the whole planet.
In 1968, when I was falling in love with Tony, I never got a boner as hard as I did for your mother. Faith. Oh, Gerry. Faith,
Mom,
I don't know how to
tell you. I'm worried about this for you. I don't know how I feel about this. My mother is...
I don't know how to tell you this, but I'm in love with you. You're in love with me.
Somebody needs to cover the kids' ears. Cover the kids. Kids, cover their eyes. Cover their eyes.
Where's that boob? Give me that boob. Oh, Gerry, is that a banana in your pocket? It was so inappropriate to see the entire family.
They made out so hardcore. It was really gross.
I am so sorry for those people
No,
who are sound adverse, who just had to hear me making a sucking sound.
it was
I'm sorry,
bad.
but that's what it was
Oh,
like.
it was so
That is how
bad.
I experienced this scene.
I did too. It was so gross. I was so horrified for all of them, and they're all just and then it pans to
Mhm,
all of
mhm.
them, and they're, like, it shows them, like,
Well,
smiling and like,
what
"What?"
would you do if
I
you're
don't
sitting
know.
there with Papa Rich? You're sitting there, it's you and Sarah, your boys are small, her kids are small, right? You're all sitting
Mhm.
there talking with Papa Rich about this new girlfriend that he's brought home to meet you. And all of a sudden, they have this real intimate moment in front of you
Oh
where
my
he's
god.
telling her he loves her and they start making out. What are you going to
I
do?
have literally no idea. I don't even know what I would do. It was
It's so
weird.
awkward.
It was
Don't do
awkward.
that in front of the kids.
It was
Jesus
super
Christ.
awkward. But now he better fucking pick her. Because if he doesn't,
I know.
shit,
I
he's
know.
gonna have
I
some
know.
people to answer to.
I know.
All right, you want to head over
I'm gonna
to
have to
Leslie?
I'm gonna have to turn that slurping down in post-production, which I will for people because it
Probably.
got pretty intense. Hey everyone, stay tuned. Little Miss Recap will be right back after these words.
All
Ah,
right, so
back to
I'm gonna head over to
Minneapolis.
Minneapolis. Gary's full on conflicted as he trades in his suede boots for some crisp white walking shoes in Minneapolis.
Yeah, he's a city guy now.
He's a city guy now.
Mhm.
He
Mhm.
says, I've got a Faith box, a Leslie box, and a Theresa box. And I'm like, ew, I'm taking this way too literally. let's
Clearly
turn
somebody
this
who's
off.
never been to therapy and doesn't know the term decompartmentalize or
Yeah,
compartmentalizing.
compartmentalizing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So, in typical Leslie fashion, she comes running out to Gary and
Mhm.
straddles him immediately, throws her
Straddles him.
body on
Yeah,
him.
yeah,
And I'm
yep.
just like, oh my God, she's
Mhm.
out of fucking control.
Mhm.
Gary says that he's really looking forward to seeing her as a mom. And the truth is, I am too.
Yeah,
Because I can't
because
picture it.
he doesn't know much about her right now.
No.
No.
Mm. So he asks who they're going to meet today. And she tells him that she's going to meet her brother, Stuart. And she launches
A
into
damn
this
hero of the
story.
episode. I love him. Anyway.
I know. Oh, we're going to get there. Don't you worry.
Mhm. Mhm.
She launches into this story about how her dad dropped her. She was 16 years old and her dad dropped her off at school. And she waited and waited and waited for him to pick her up. And he never came back. But her brother Stuart showed up and she was like, "Where's dad?" And he's like, "I'm your dad now."
Which
That
is
was
that's a weird thing to
horrible.
say.
A real weird thing to say.
Yeah.
I was
And
like,
maybe, she was
ugh.
probably so shocked and in her grief that she just is summarizing. Like
I
I'm sure
know.
he didn't say that. I'm
I
sure he
know.
wasn't like, I'm the captain now. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It probably was not like that.
So she's selling her sob story real hard.
Mhm.
She said her brother is a mensch, which means a good person, and now
Mhm.
Gary is too. He's a
Mhm.
mensch on a bench.
Mhm. Which I thought that was
Yes,
kind of funny.
it was kind of funny.
I have to say I
So
liked her better after this episode, but I
I did
still don't
too.
like her. Okay.
Same. I agree with you.
Mhm.
So then we head over and meet her brother that she calls Stuart, but it's really Eric Clapton, and he's fucking concerned.
Oh, he does look like Eric
Yes,
Clapton. You're right.
he
Yes.
does.
Yes. Yes.
So Eric Clapton's really concerned. The daughter's there. She's like a female wrestler, and I'm fucking scared. I'm
That
scared his
daughter
family
could kick
kick
my
my
ass.
ass.
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
Gary should be scared because I'm
Mhm.
scared.
Mhm.
They're going to scare him into choosing her.
Mhm.
And I thought it was weird too. They're meeting in like a public place that clearly wasn't any. She called it like a brick and mortar or something. I
Their
don't really
meeting, I
remember,
thought that was an apartment.
but it wasn't their apart. Like it was, I think it was just like a public apartment. Like I don't think it was anybody's place. It
I
was
don't know. It
weird.
was gorgeous.
Yeah, it was gorgeous,
Yeah.
but I don't think that it was
Hmm.
anybody lived there.
Okay.
So we see her family, we saw the daughter, she scares me. Her grandbabies are fucking
Oh
adorable,
my
but
god, are they this daughter's children?
I think so. That's what
They're
I thought, but
adorable.
I honestly don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
She's really close to her daughter. She says her daughter's her best friend. They all seem super
No, no,
close,
no,
which
that's not what was said.
Yeah.
The daughter said, "My mom is literally my best friend."
Oh, all
That's
right.
what was said.
All right. I'm like, yeah, they did.
Like, there was a real hard literally in there.
Okay. And it didn't come out of my mouth for once. So Gerry sits with the grandkids, and I am fucking here for
I'm
these
here for this
kids.
little
All
girl.
of
I'm
these
here for
kids.
her.
This little girl in her glasses says to Gerry, "Is it true? Are you actually in love with my grandma? Are you actually a couple?" Just like, bring me these kids.
Well, yeah, I kind of am. And you know what? If we get married, you can be the flower girl, and then I'll pay for
Oh
you to
my
go to
God.
college. Like, stop, stop. It's like Scott stops. Like,
I
stop making
know.
these promises to these
It's
children.
so weird because
Mhm.
as much as I adore these kids and I love Eric Clapton, even more so now, I don't think Leslie is the guy for him. Or
The girl for
the
him.
girl for him. I don't think he's a
Um,
bad guy. I don't think she's a bad person. I just don't think that she's the one. They're
I
too
think he picks
different.
her. I think he picks her.
I think he does too.
Okay.
So Eric Clapton is saying to Gerry, like he just wants somebody to love her and to take care of her because frankly, he's just fucking sick of doing it, I think.
He is an amazing brother,
He is.
and I feel, yes, like he is taking care of her in
Yeah,
many
he's like,
many
"Please
instances.
pick
Yep.
her because I got a fucking life to live. I'm tired of
Because
this
there's
shit."
underlining, like, she's always dated trash.
Trash,
Yeah,
yes.
and guys,
So,
go back a few episodes. You heard us
you'll
describe her life
yeah.
perfectly.
Oh, yeah, it was great.
Mhm,
So Gerry asks for the brother's blessing, which I
mhm,
thought was weird. And the
mhm.
brother says, "Hey, if you wanted to get married, he would give them the blessing because he wants another mensch in the family." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay, I guess this is like a big deal."
Yep.
Gerry says they're both connected to their family so much. And Leslie says after today, she's not just falling in love with him, she is in love with him.
You know,
She,
Gary, I'm not just in love or falling for you. I'm in love with you now.
mhm,
Okay.
can't imagine her life without him. Gerry says he even feels like maybe this is his person and he could see her in his future.
Mhm.
So now Gerry and Leslie are out in the town.
Mhm.
And he's got her forced up against a brick wall.
Okay.
Literally, okay?
Okay. I'm gonna tell you something. I feel terrible about myself saying this. I'll
Mhm.
need to jump immediately in the shower afterwards.
Okay.
This was kinda hot.
Oh my god, no, Amy,
No, just the
no.
way they were, this was a genuine makeout.
I
This
think it was
was,
too.
"We are hot for each other. I'm rubbing my jeans up against
Mhm,
your
mhm, mhm,
Lululemons," or whatever.
mhm.
Yeah,
Yep.
this was
Gary
intense.
Gary pushes her up against that
Mhm.
brick wall and he says, a wise man once told me, don't walk by an opportunity to tell someone you love them when you love them. And Leslie, I love you."
Yeah,
And they
it
make
was
out against the wall. And at this point, I am very concerned about Charlie and Peyton. Is anyone checking on
Oh,
them?
Jesus Christ.
Because holy fuck,
Dude, next week we have the Women Tell All, okay? The
I
week
cannot
after,
wait.
we have the overnights.
I
There's
can't
gonna
wait.
be a whole lot of shimmy shaking going
Oh,
on in
there
those
is.
meetings.
There is. Oh, you guys, Gary, he doesn't know what to do. He says he didn't expect to fall in love with one person, let alone three. He doesn't know what to do with his feelings. Blah, blah, blah. Do we want to go to the rose ceremony? Are we
Let's go to the
wrapping
rose
this up?
ceremony. Mhm.
All right. So our Gary says, he's in love with three women. He's met three families, but unfortunately, one will be going home.
Mhm.
Our guy Gary's just not okay.
He's not.
So the women are showing up. Hawkeye's outside waiting for them.
Jesse
Leslie,
is interviewing them.
I
This
know
is
it's
weird.
super weird, like they're on the
Yeah.
red carpet.
Mhm.
So Leslie comes out for the first interview and she's looking stunning in her Fredericks of Hollywood black sequin dress.
Mhm. She looks hot.
She looks fucking hot and she
Mhm.
tells Hot Guy that she's in love with Gary and she just wants it her way.
Mhm.
Faith arrives equally as stunning in another navy dress where she looks fucking gorgeous. And she
Mhm.
also tells Hot Guy how she's in love with Gary.
They all look stunning. Even Theresa.
Even Theresa Saw
Mhm.
shows up and she's in a beautiful sage green dress. And I
Mhm.
thought she actually looked not so sawish for the first time.
Mhm.
She tells Hot Guy that she's also in love with Gerry, but dun dun dun, he hasn't said it back to her yet.
Mm-mm.
And I'm like, he didn't.
Mm-mm.
He says it to the camera, but he didn't say it to her.
Nope.
So Gerry comes out and he's looking all dashing and
he's already crying.
Yeah. But he comes out looking all dashing in his beautiful purple suit. But man, is he fucking defeated. Poor guy he is just moping around and crying, and he doesn't know what the fuck to do. So the first rose, like they blow through this real fast. Like there's not a whole lot that happens here. The first rose goes to, drumroll, Leslie. Just like we fucking knew it would, because he's so hot for her.
Yep.
Then we pan to Theresa.
I felt something move in my pants. Sorry, I just felt like I had to say that.
So we pan to Theresa, and she is shaking in her fucking boots.
Every dagger she has at him. She's literally looking at him. Do you remember in the 80s and 90s, it was a thing to try to, like, it was especially big after Carrie came out, to try to see if you had telekinesis, like you would try to move things with your mind.
Yes.
Theresa is giving him that stare that I used to give, like, the cereal box in the morning.
Yeah, when you're like, I bet if I try a little bit harder this time, it'll move.
Yes. Yeah. She is staring at Gerry like, if I could only move his mouth and make him my puppet.
I know. So Hot Guy comes out once again to remind them that it's the final rose because they keep forgetting. Gerry picks up the rose. He's trying to make a decision. It gets all fucking dramatic. What does he do? He slams that rose down and walks out. And I'm like, wow, he's being really dramatic this week.
Yeah. Like, did you not know how this works, dude?
He is literally like bending over.
Midwest. I'm too nice to do this.
He's bending over, crying. He feels like he's going to throw up. He's so upset. This is just like a lot of fucking drama. And I
bet you he has a high school football or college football knee injury, which is why his posture's so strong.
I bet you're right. I bet you're right. But at this point, they just leave us all fucking hanging.
Yeah, we're done.
We learn nothing. And I'm like, how are these people and their blood pressure going to make it to another 7 days? I don't understand.
I'm telling you.
But Gerry says fuck a lot. And I'm like, whoa,
Gerry does start to say fuck.
He starts to say fuck a lot. And I'm like, holy crap, this isn't the innocent Gare Bear we met a couple weeks ago.
He's like, well, fuck me. I don't know what I'm going to do in this fucking terrible situation. I have 2 bitches I want to fuck. A third one I might want a hand job from. Who do I get rid of? Do I want a hand job, a guaranteed hand job, or a maybe fuck? Like, this is what's going on in little Gary's mind.
I know. And poor Tony is just rolling around in her grave somewhere.
Oh, and Charlie and Peyton are home like, God, throwing up in the corner.
I'm so worried about them. Imagine this being your grandfather.
They need a therapist with them at every viewing. Yes.
Oh, my Lord.
So here's my takeaway. I think he's going to pick Leslie.
I do too.
Tell me why. Like, is it just a vibe you're getting from them?
It's totally just a vibe. But I think there's something, I think it's like the sexual, I'm not going to lie. I think it's all that like sexual energy. Because I really think that that's all that it is. And I think after they bang it out, they're going to realize that they don't have much in common.
Here's my thought. I did the math on this morning. This is an actual equation, okay?
Okay.
So I feel like one of the things that we keep saying is, how are they going to live with him, right? So I think he is not going to pick Faith because Faith is not going to move.
Right. And I think she's the farthest away.
No, she is, yeah. So Faith lives 2,100 miles from, he's from, I think it's,
Indiana somewhere.
Yeah, but it's Huntington, Indiana, something like that. I had the exact town and I did the distance. Okay. So Faith is 2,100 miles. She's made it very clear. Her horse is buried there. She's not leaving. She owns that beautiful house. She's in the Pacific Northwest. She's not going anywhere.
Who would want to?
Theresa is 667 miles from him. Okay. The little town he's from is all the way on the border of Ohio. So it's actually closer to the East Coast than the West.
Okay.
So she is 667 miles from him, which is about the same that Leslie is. Leslie is 589 miles from him.
Okay.
So I think it's going to be a challenge for both of them. However, I don't think Leslie owns a house.
I don't either.
And I don't think that she is. I think she's a good grandmother. I'm not saying anything like that, but
me
I don't
too.
think she's as involved in her kids.
As tied into like the day-to-day.
Right.
Like I think so too.
I got the impression that her kids would come and see her of their own, you know what I mean? Whereas I didn't get that impression from Theresa.
I didn't either.
So I definitely think Faith is gone, and I think he's going to pick Leslie because I think Leslie is the easiest to, she's just going to pick up and move.
I agree.
Now, the only caveat here is I stalked Theresa's Instagram.
You did?
I did. Theresa has a daughter in New Jersey, we saw. Her son is in North Carolina. So she already travels to see her kids. So it might not be a big deal for her to scoot over to Indiana.
Right. So
and just fly around.
Potentially that could work itself out.
Yeah. But I definitely think Faith is out. And I think he's going to blame it on the logistical stuff. And I do think that's what it is.
But I really wish he didn't tell her he loved her in front of her family. And
I know.
I just feel like he shouldn't have done that.
I know. It's really weird.
I know.
Really weird.
But anyway, you guys,
that's the episode. And, I'm really looking forward to next week. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, God.
I forgot that I have a call to make. Hold on one second.
Oh, no. Hello? Hello, this is Kathy.
Hi, Kathy. This is Amy Archer. I am the host of Little Miss Recap. I don't know if you have heard our podcast.
Oh, Amy, it's so nice to meet you. I'm so glad you called. I really like your podcast a lot. I've heard some really good things about it.
Hey, Kathy, it's Gerry. I'm at
Amy's house. Oh, Gerry.
I'm here to tell you that I didn't find you attractive. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, isn't that a real fucking nice thing to say?
Gerry, get out of here. Okay, anyway.
Gerry,
Kathy, I would like to know what your thoughts are on the final 3 of the Golden Bachelor. Like, who do you think is going to take this?
I'm going to tell you right now. If he takes off with that fucking Theresa bitch, I'm telling you, I'm really going to burn somebody's fucking house down. And I don't care who's in it. It could be Gerry's house. It could be Theresa's house. It could even be her kid's house. At this point, I don't know. He better not just pick that bitch because I'm just not here for that shit at all.
Kathy, how small is Theresa's suitcase? We need to know.
I mean, it's pretty tiny. Like, she can fit some doll clothes in there. Really tiny suitcase. But anyway, all right. So Faith is a good woman.
Faith is a good woman. I agree.
Faith is a good woman. And I really hope that if at anybody, he chooses her. Because that Leslie, she's a loosey-goosey something over there, that one. I don't know,
you think Leslie's loose, like my grandma would say. That's a real 1930s term.
Have you seen her throw herself on him? Tell me you've seen her.
Kathy, I don't feel that way. I think it's acceptable for a woman to be in touch with her sexuality now.
Amy, I am more in touch with my sexuality than any woman on this fucking planet. But let me tell you something. Get some class. Have a little coat. We don't need to act like that in front of these grandchildren and our families.
Okay. I have somebody here who would like to talk to you.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Kathy, it's Gabagool. How you doing?
Hey.
Pasta. What you drinking here?
Gabagool, I'm so happy to see you. You're one of my best friends from the
mansion. We gotta talk about the Susan.
Oh,
no, I am Susan.
You
we
are
have to
Susan.
talk about the Theresa.
No wonder hot guy Jesse keeps coming out to tell us about the flower, because half of us bitches can't even remember our own names.
I mean, I can't. if he picks this Leslie, I'm gonna just drive off a cliff, like Rainbow Road and my brother Luigi. We're just gonna drive right off the cliff.
Oh, don't do that. If anything, let's just get together and have some drinks and we'll talk about it. And we'll just talk shit about them.
Can I make some gabagool for this? Can I make some gabagool?
Oh, that would be really nice. Susan,
some chicken piccata, a warm chicken piccata. Can I make that for you?
That'd be so nice. I'll bring a really nice Chianti.
Okay. All right, guys, I need to break this up. Okay, Steph and I need to end it. So thank you, Kathy, very much for phoning in from where are you? Where are you at?
Right now I'm at the mall. I stopped. I had to get my steps in because I've got to check out with my cardiologist at the end of this week. So I'm just here to get my steps in. I pulled over quick to answer this call.
Kathy,
I got to get back to my JCPenney walk.
Are you there to go to an Orange Julius? Because you know they haven't been in business for 30 years.
Oh, there is an Orange Julius here, but I'm not really into that. I think I'm just going to get myself a nice tea.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you, Amy. Have a nice day.
Bye, Kathy. Let me talk to you. Gerry, get out of here. Get out of here. All right, guys. So there you have it. I mean, Kathy she's pulling for Faith. I mean, I think all of us are at this point.
We are. We really are. Come on. But I don't think she stands a chance. I hate it.
It's if he gets rid of her, like I said, it's gonna be a logistical thing.
I know.
But don't make out with her in front of the kids. That was
Don't
a lot of
say
dry
I
humping
love
happening.
you. Don't say I love you in front of her family.
He didn't do this, but when he was grabbing her and kissing her, what if he shoved her down and like got on top of her?
And like they had to like scooch out of the way because there were other people on the couch. They were like, oh.
I wonder again what that sounded like. I mean, it was probably slurp, slurp, slurp.
Let's not do it again.
Yeah, no. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks so much for listening. Steph and I are covering Married at First Sight.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're interested, we're doing that. Those episodes come out Thursday. So if you're on the paid feed, they come out Wednesday night, midnight, like 12:01 a.m. Thursday. Okay. If you're on the free feed, they come out later that day. So you get them a little bit earlier. Okay.
All right.
And that's just logistical stuff. I'm not being a dick. And Amanda and I are going to be jumping into The Crown.
Oh, I cannot wait.
So excited.
Such a good show.
And on our paid feed, we're doing Sister Wives, and we're going to start Murder Show Mondays, which will be happening in December. So
exciting.
Join up, sign up, support us, leave us a review. Some of you have left us a review, and we love it. We love it.
Those 5-star reviews only.
Yeah, 5-star only. I mean,
obviously.
Like I've said before, if you have a 3-star review, just Morse code it over to me.
DMs. Send a raven.
Yep. All right. Thanks, Steph. Love you.
Love your bones.
Bye.